This woman's name is Yunwoo. Yunwoo's father was a Navy who often left home for duty, leaving Yunwoo having no memory of what he looked like. One day, her father died on duty without having to say goodbye. Not long after her father died, her mother fell sick and soon after died, leaving Yunwoo to live alone. At her mother's funeral, with a face full of disappointment, Yunwoo promised herself that she would be able to survive and would grow up to be a strong woman without ever relying on other people. Decades later, at the age of 39, Yunwoo kept her promise. She had become a successful lawyer thanks to her ability to solve big cases. Many well-known companies pay a lot of money to use her services. Despite her success, she never thought about having a family, thinking it would be nothing but a lot of fuss. That day, Yunwoo was handling a raping case. She suggested that it would be better for the victim's mother to withdraw her suit, saying she wouldn't be able to win the court against the son of a rich. Moreover, her daughter would be embarrassed for the rest of her life if the case was spread to the public. The victim's mother was angry to hear that. Yunwoo, who didn't have a family, would not be able to understand how devastated a mother feels when she finds out that the daughter she has carried for 9 months and raised with love was raped by a man. Amid the argument, her daughter tried to calm her down and said that she didn't want to prolong the problem. Despite the disappointment, the mother was forced to forgive the rapist. After the meeting, Yunwoo's senior advised her that as a lawyer, she should be more on the side of the poor instead of oppressing them, but she insisted that lawyers must be rational because the poor couldn't win against the rich and struggle to do so was a waste of time. In the afternoon, while practicing martial arts, Yunwoo's friend suggests that she start opening her heart and look for a partner. At the age of 30, she was old enough to start a family, but she wasn't interested at all, thinking having a relationship was a burden. That night, Yunwoo met with a rich businessman who asked for her help to take care of the eviction of residents' flats to make way for a luxury apartment development project. As an initial payment, the client gave her a car and a VIP shopping cart, which she could use as much as she wanted. Without hesitation, Yunwoo was willing to help. The next morning, Yunwoo went to visit the crematorium where her mother's ashes were kept. She proudly showed a job promotion letter to the United States and looked very happy as her dream of becoming an international class lawyer would soon come true. But sadly, in the evening, she had an accident. Strangely, when she opened her eyes, she found herself in an all-white lobby which turned out to be purgatory. She met the receptionist who checked her name and date of birth. The receptionist was shocked and then asked her to wait while she went to her boss's office. The receptionist reported that there was an error in putting the data on Yunwoo's death schedule. It was mixed up. Yunwoo should have died in 2054. Hearing the report, the boss, whose name is Director Kim, was angry. Luckily, he got an idea. He called Yunwoo and then explained the problem that was happening. Finding herself dead made her panic. Director Kim tried to calm him down, saying that he had a solution so that she could live again. Coincidentally, there was a woman who chose to die early even though she still had a month left to live, so he asked Yunwoo to replace the woman through a special program. And if she managed to live the remaining 1 month and passed it, her soul would be returned to her original body, which was in a coma in the hospital. She immediately accepted it, thinking she still had a lot to achieve in life. She was then sent back to Earth. When she opened her eyes, she was shocked to find herself inside someone else's body and was even shocked to find a man coming from the bathroom. The man was her husband in this life named Sungwon. She also had 2 kids, a teenage girl named Hae-Mule and a boy named Haru. Fortunately, her family didn't suspect anything. They thought that her strange behavior was thanks to a horror film she had watched. Yunwoo, who was still in shock, ran out of the house and screamed at the sky, protesting why Director Kim didn't tell her that she was going to be a housewife. Not long after, Haru came out asking to be taken to school. At the bus stop, after taking Haru to get on the bus, Yunwoo was invited by her neighbors to look for part-time work. She was also forced to hang out together after that. She was fed up with a lot of changes in her life and got confused, so she went to the toilet to calm down. Suddenly, Director Kim appeared. Couldn't stand the changes anymore, Yunwoo asked Director Kim to return her to her body, but Director Kim refused since she had agreed to the trial period. Director Kim told her to be grateful and accept the situation instead of complaining, and she had no other choice but to do so. At home, after analyzing her new family's life, Yunwoo finally decided to start accepting the situation as Director Kim suggested. She then went shopping at the supermarket, but when she was about to pay, her husband's credit card was declined. Not long afterward, her friend called and said that Haru was waiting for her to pick him up at the park near his school, so she hurried there. Fortunately, her friend helped her look after Haru before she arrived. In the evening, Sungwon and Hae-Mule were confused as to why they only had meat for dinner. Yunwoo told them to just sit down and eat. In the bedroom before sleep, Sungwon asked Yunwoo to have sex, but she refused because, to her, she was nothing but a stranger she had to live with for the next month. She pinned him down while threatening to report him for trying to rape her. She then decided to sleep on the sofa. The next day at the office, Sungwon confided in his friend about Yunwoo's strange behavior recently. His friend suspected that his wife was having an affair, but Sungwon couldn't believe it. He was sure that his wife was a faithful woman. In the middle of the conversation, his boss, Choi, passed by. Sungwon approached and showed him the design of a soundproofing project for trains, But seeing Brilliant's idea, instead of supporting the idea, he told Sungwon to just focus on the project he was working on, which was more profitable for the company. Sungwon was disappointed. On the other hand, Yeonwoo was seen hanging out with her friends. One of her friends told everyone that they all had to unite in rejecting the project to build luxury apartments because it would displace the flats they were living in. Upon hearing the news, Yeonwoo suddenly remembered that in her real life, she worked for the one who planned that luxury apartment development. She then rushed to her real house to get the eviction files. After finding the files before leaving, she remembered that she had been given a VVIP shopping card, and because she really wanted to go shopping, she decided to take it and went shopping for branded clothes and bags. But when she was about to pay, the cashier suspected her for stealing someone else's card, seeing the different name on her ID and the card. Meanwhile, at school, Hae-nul met a handsome senior who wanted to get to know her. She couldn't believe it and her heart was blooming. At home after school, Haru brought something for Yeonwoo and gave it to her. He thought that she was sick and said that the thing he brought might help her. Seeing his innocent face, Yeonwoo finally ate it. At night after work, someone asked to discuss last night's problem and accused Yeonwoo of cheating, but because she didn't want to answer, he left her. Not long later, Hae-nul came home and asked her to cook her something. Seeing Hae-nul's rude attitude, she immediately addressed it, and they ended up arguing. In the middle of the argument, Sungwon came out and asked where Yeonwoo got the money to buy luxury goods. Suddenly, the police showed up and asked Yeonwoo to come with them to the office. She was interrogated about the card she used to shop. Luckily, Sungwon managed to defend and convince the police that his wife was not a thief. Seeing her husband's struggle, Yeonwoo slowly started to fall in love. On the roof of the house, director Kim showed up while Yeonwoo was contemplating. He was disappointed that within 2 days, she had already caused a lot of problems for this family, especially her husband. Director Kim firmly warned her to behave, and if she continued to cause problems and trouble her husband, he would replace her with another candidate. Hearing that warning, Yeonwoo was silent. After returning home, Sungwon didn't seem angry at all. He instead apologized for rarely taking her to the mall for shopping. Sungwon promised that he would be more attentive and would not let other people make fun of his wife's appearance. Yeonwoo blushed hearing that. The next day when Sungwon got home from work, he said that the office was having a party tomorrow and wanted Yeonwoo to accompany him to an office event. The next night at the office party, Sungwon was surprised to see his wife, who looked very beautiful, and immediately introduced Yeonwoo to the mayor. When Sungwon wanted to convey his idea about the train soundproofing project, Choi suddenly appeared and diverted the conversation because he didn't want his staff to outdo him. At the dining table, Choi continued to talk with the mayor. Yeonwoo was annoyed that his husband's ideas were never listened to, so she interrupted the conversation and said that Choi's project was not important and the city budget was used to take care of useless projects. It would be better for the mayor to build the train soundproofing facilities so that train passengers feel more comfortable. In the end, if the people were happy, the mayor's popularity would increase. Sungwon panicked and tried to stop his wife, but unexpectedly, after hearing Yeonwoo's opinion, the mayor was actually interested and asked Choi to immediately make detailed calculations for that project. While looking at Sungwon cynically, Choi was forced to obey the mayor's orders. Due to that incident, Sungwon and Yeonwoo got into an argument. When they wanted to go home, Choi, who was annoyed, showed up and insulted Yeonwoo. Hearing his wife insulted, Sungwon immediately punched Choi and left from there. To calm down, Sungwon invited Yeonwoo to drink. Yeonwoo said that she was worried that Sungwon would be fired because he hit his boss. Sungwon tried to calm her down by saying that nothing was more important than her. Hearing that, Yeonwoo couldn't help but blush. That night, Sungwon, who was drunk, slept on the sofa, while Yeonwoo slept with Haru. The moment she was about to close her eyes, Haru suddenly hugged her. It was the first time she felt a warm hug from a child. The next morning, when Yeonwoo was cooking, Hae-nul asked for money to hang out with her friends after school. Yeonwoo said that Hae-nul had to help if she wanted to have pocket money. Annoyed, Hae-nul went straight to school. That night, Yeonwoo invited Haru to walk around. When he was running around, he fell to the ground and a man showed up to help him. But shortly after, a woman who turned out to be the landlord of that place showed up and dressed the man. It turned out that the man had not paid the rent for that month because he didn't have the money. The man apologized and asked her to give him some time to get the money, but the woman insisted that he paid her that same day. Amidst the commotion, Yeonwoo came to see the abusive treatment of poor residents. Yeonwoo, who had years of experience as a lawyer, easily exposed the corruption the landlord had done in front of everyone. While pointing towards the communications tower on the roof of the flats, Yeonwoo said he knew all along that the woman had been secretly receiving money from the communications company worth thousands of won per year, which should be distributed to all residents who live around the tower. She threatened to report her if she kept harassing the man. The woman fell silent, embarrassed, then apologized and went away. Seeing Yeonwoo's courage, everyone applauded. They didn't expect an ordinary housewife like Yeonwoo to know about the law. The next morning, after Hae-nul finished helping with the housework, Yeonwoo gave her pocket money. Before leaving, Hae-nul said that she would be late home because she wanted to hang out with her friends. After school, Hae-nul was invited to hang out at the house of the handsome senior. Coincidentally, no one was home at the time. Her senior was about to kiss her when she realized that there was a camera recording. It turned out that they were trying to harass her. Not long after, the senior's friends showed up to surround her, and even though she tried to escape, she couldn't fight back and they ended up harassing her. That afternoon, Yeonwoo saw Hae-Newell return home and went straight into her room crying. She then checked and found bruises all over Hae-Newell's body. Hae-Newell, who couldn't speak, could only cry as hard as she could. After calming down, she told her what had happened to her. Upon hearing that, Yeonwoo's heart was broken. The next day at school, the principal was holding a mediation between Hae-Newell and her senior. Throughout the discussion, the senior's lawyer continued to intimidate and said that the incident was just a misunderstanding, hoping that Yeonwoo wouldn't escalate this problem. As an apology, they would give compensation. Yeonwoo's heart felt so sore as she held back her tears. She then went to the toilet for a moment. In the toilet, she was shaking and crying uncontrollably. She remembered how much of a jerk she was before. She finally knew how a mother feels. Amid crying, Hae-Newell came in and said that she didn't want to prolong this problem. She would try to let it slide because after all, poor people like them would never win against the rich. Hearing that, Yeonwoo said that she would fight for her. When the discussion continued, the lawyer kept cornering Yeonwoo and Hae-Newell. Even the principal also sided with the senior. At first, the lawyer looked arrogant as he was sure that dealing with Yeonwoo would definitely be easy. But suddenly, Yeonwoo took out her cell phone and said that she had recorded this whole conversation. The senior and his lawyer and the principal were panicking. With a sharp gaze, Yeonwoo swore that she would make the boy suffer, no matter what. She would also destroy the lawyer's career and would report the principal. When Yeonwoo was about to leave, the annoyed boy cursed at her and tried to attack. However, Yeonwoo, who was good at martial arts, easily defended herself. After the business was finished, Yeonwoo and Hae-Newell sat together at the park. Hae-Newell hugged her mother and said that she was really cool. At that moment, their relationship became closer. The next day, while looking at her family from the balcony, Director Kim suddenly appeared, reminding her that there were only a few days left before she returned to her body. She was sad to hear that, thinking about what would happen when she was not around. Director Kim told her to brace herself. That afternoon at the office, Choi gave Sungwon a transfer letter. Starting next month, Sungwon would be transferred to an overseas branch office. Sungwon apologized for the incident while begging Choi to let him stay, but Choi's response was cold. He instead cursed at Sungwon. Luckily, Sungwon could hold his anger and chose to leave. In the evening, Yeonwoo asked Sungwon out on a date. That was when Sungwon said that he would be transferred to an overseas branch. Yeonwoo felt guilty because she knew that it was thanks to her that her husband was transferred. The next day, Yeonwoo made an appointment to meet Choi at a cafe. Before going there, Yeonwoo had investigated Choi's background first. She then pretended to beg Choi to cancel her husband's move, but because Choi still refused in the end, Yeonwoo used her ace card. She knew that Choi had been involved in corruption cases on various projects. Yeonwoo threatened to report him if he refused to comply with what she demanded. Panicked, Choi agreed to cancel Sungwon's move. On the other hand, after school, when Haru was having snacks at the stall, the boy suddenly fainted. He was rushed to the hospital. After receiving the news, Sungwon and Yeonwoo rushed to the hospital. After the examination, it was revealed that Haru was suffering from a rare hereditary eye disease, and if it was left for too long, he could go blind. The only way to prevent it was with surgery. Hearing the doctor's words, Yeonwoo was shocked. She then remembered that she also suffered from this eye disease when she was little. On the roof of the hospital, Yeonwoo cried and asked Director Kim about Haru, who suffered from hereditary eye disease like her even though they were not related. Director Kim explained that her life story and everything about her had been brought into this life. Yeonwoo cried even more, and when Sungwon came, he immediately hugged to calm her down. That night, Yeonwoo slept next to Haru. While hugging him, Yeonwoo told him about her past, that she hated her father for leaving her to serve, and that she didn't remember what her father's face looked like. Yeonwoo had a grudge because of her father. Her mother had to suffer and died, leaving her behind all alone. She was forced to live a hard life alone until she was successful. But even though she was successful, strangely enough, she always felt lonely. But after meeting Haru, Hae-Newell, and Sungwon, she realized that the happiness she was looking for was not money but family. Early in the morning, while she was waiting for Haru's surgery, Director Kim appeared and she realized that her time had come. She begged for a little time until Haru woke up from the surgery because she didn't want to leave without saying goodbye. Director Kim couldn't grant this request because even though she loved them very much, this was not her life. Not ready to leave, Yeonwoo decided to run away. Seeing her determination, Director Kim finally allowed her to say goodbye. At the hospital, Yeonwoo immediately hugged Hae-Newell. She told her to be a good sister. Hae-Newell then said goodbye, not knowing that her mother would be gone forever. Yeonwoo then approached Haru, who had just woken up from surgery. While crying, she said goodbye and told him to be a good little brother and to obey his sister. Yeonwoo then met Sungwon. She apologized for all the problems she had made and said that it was the first time she had fallen in love. She also told him to look after the children after she left. After saying goodbye, Yeonwoo finally parted with her family, the family she had for just a month. When she returned to her real life, Yeonwoo woke up in the hospital from her coma. At that moment, she immediately rushed to the hospital where Haru was treated, but when she arrived, Haru was nowhere to be found. She then went to the flat where she used to live, but the family was not there. Yunwoo's heart hurt. The memories of the family were still clear, as if they had only been separated for a short time. At the bus stop, she realized that maybe all the memories were just a dream. Months gone by. That day at the office, Yunwoo met her senior and gave him a file containing the files on the case of eviction of the flats, and then asked him to take over the case. She then said that she wanted to take a leave for a while. She also no longer wanted to be a cruel lawyer who had the heart to do various things just for money. A few days later, Yunwoo decided to move. When she was packing, she accidentally found a box containing things left by her parents. When she was looking through a photo album, she realized that the figure of director Kim, who had been appearing in her dreams all this time, was actually her father. The next day after moving house, Yunwoo went on holiday. Before the plane took off, when Yunwoo was looking for her seat, a boy greeted her. Not long after that, his sister and father came to apologize for his nuisance. They appeared to be sitting next to Yunwoo. She was surprised to see the family before her eyes was the family she left behind months ago. It turned out that her life with them was not a dream. When the plane took off, the boys said that they wanted to go on holiday to cheer themselves up because their mother had just passed away. Turned out they were heading to the same destination. Upon hearing it, Yunwoo was so happy and smiled.